Welcome everyone to Squad Ops Wednesday night event. Tonight it is Operation Chainlink. I'm here with Google Tricks.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good, man. I apologize to everyone watching the stream for the little bit of delay. We're in the middle of improving our servers, and we are in the middle of hardware upgrades and all that good stuff. So it's taking a little bit of jumps here and there, but overall, it's going to be a better experience for everyone. So I appreciate everyone hanging out, watching, and just chatting. But yeah, this is Operation Chainlink. For those of you who may not know, who are maybe new here, welcome first. What you're about to see here is a one life event in squad. So everyone here will only get one life per side. No medic revives, only heals, and a couple other custom rules that we've set that we'll go over as the op kind of progresses along. I'm going to let you guys in on. So we have about, I don't know, we have at least 10, more than 10 at this point. Geez, ops that we run. It's probably close to 15 or something like that. This one is a defense of a trench, and it's very difficult to execute properly, which is why it's so exciting. And it ends up being a really crazy execution of the movement. So what you're looking at on my screen right here is the trench that will be occupied by militia. And pretty simply, the goal for the Russians is to kill the fob that'll be placed here, and militia is trying to defend it. We have a couple custom rules, like militia gets, I think, 3 logi dumps, so they can't totally super fob. Sandbags can't be placed too high, so it's a little more exposed. Things like that. But overall, the goal here is for Russia to take over the fob that will be placed in this trench that you're looking at, and militia's got to defend. While we're waiting, and while the SLs you see are getting set up, I'm going to go over the squad leaders today. So we are on militia side right now. After this is over, we will flip sides. So the squad leaders for militia today are Tedish in Squad 1, CMYK Matter, Squad 2, Nasty Nate, Squad 3, Sightless in Squad 4, and your seasoned commander, Best Pony in Squad 5. Google, you can let us know who's on Russia's side.
On Russia, we have Shadowed Ritual commanding tonight. He's commanded quite a few ops, very experienced guy. And his squad leaders tonight are OD Tap, Satan, Carpy, and Xbit. All of them are very experienced squad leaders and do really well with keeping all the people going the right direction and giving them good instruction and generally making it a really fun op for everyone.
Yeah, that is a seasoned group of squad leaders in command over there. So we do determine the kit distribution as well as the asset distribution. So for Operation Chainlink, militia assets are as follows. Militia gets 2 ARs, 1 lat, 1 scout, 1 medic. That's their kit assignments. That's per squad. They get 1 times any techie that they want. It can be either SPG or Dishka. They get 3 logis, which will dump at the beginning of the round, and they will use that to build their defenses in the trench or in the surrounding area. Militia they also get 3 HMG or SPG emplacements, and they get 1 mortar if they so choose to use it. As you can see, so militia are going to be setting up in this trench with those logi dumps and pretty much fortifying it as best they can. Russian forces need to move into the militia fob, locate and destroy, and militia win if they're able to hold their position. So it's going to be a matter of how far can they spread themselves out and then slow the advance of the Russians down. Now, the Russian assets are a little bit different. Russia gets 2 ARs, 1 lat, 1 GL, 1 medic. Lat, if you don't know, is the light anti-tank kit, so it's an RPG, and the GL being the grenade launcher. That's again per squad. They get 1 MTLB NSVT, which is a tracked vehicle with a machine gun on it to troop transport. They get a logi. They do get to place a fob down. Russia does to assault as a fire base. They get 1 trans truck. They get the fob, and on that fob, like I mentioned, they get actually two machine gun emplacements, which will help aid in their push to the trench. So, Google, you've played through this op before, correct?
Oh, absolutely. A couple times now.
So, in your experience, that fob I just mentioned, that Russia gets to put down, that's going to be put down in the surrounding area. Like, where would you most likely see it? And what use do you think, or has it had before, or what do you think it'll have this time?
You know, one of the most impactful placements I've seen was when the Russian actually circles around to the south side and basically assaults south to north. And they use that fob to put a machine gun emplacement up on that hill. That machine gun's able to basically spray anywhere along that trench. Now, they can't see it, so they do require, like, spotting, which is really intense for the gunners and the people spotting, as they have to get down in line of sight. But that machine gun emplacement really helps if you put it on that south side hill, because it actually goes up probably about 30 meters or so up above the plane of that trench there. And with them having to defend that trench, that machine gun is just deadly, because you know right where they're at.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think this op has changed a lot since new vehicles have come out. Mm-hmm. This op didn't even used to be like, it was on the old Yeho because they reworked Yeho and stuff. But in general, since it's been here, I think the south side of the trench is probably the more popular direction to be attacking from. And I can show you why. If you look at my screen, down this, there's an entire trench that's running south that actually offers pretty good defilade, like better than any defilade you're going to get. And it's a good way to advance up to get close to that trench. And once you get close, you can start doing some damage. But on either side, there's open field. So pretty much the south side is generally, I think, the best with the trees there and that trench. That would be my guess as to which way they're going to be coming from. But you know, it's also, I mean, Shadow and Opponent like to both mix it up. So I can't really say for sure which way they're going to be going. Maybe both, who knows? But
yeah,
in general, that's the way I've seen it play out so far.
Yeah, I know Shadow really likes to try and go for things that he's comfortable with. And I remember, I think it was last time, he was either a squad lead or command when I was playing this op last, and he really enjoyed executing from this southern hill, and he might try it again because he knows how to make it fun, how to make it effective, and really how to push off this hill. If you can see my camera right now, you can kind of see the hill that we're talking about. This is that south hill. And basically, I don't know if you could tell really from this view, we probably can't. You're actually up quite a ways, and if you you plunk a machine gun down, like maybe right here where I'm at, as you can see by all the names ahead of me, you have a great sight line on that whole trench line right there. So again, it's not easy to see as a gunner, but if you have somebody down there spotting, you would very easily help suppress and assist with that push. So we'll see how that goes tonight, but I have a feeling something's going to happen on this south side.
Yeah, and you want to know something else is what's different about this now is that the fog is gone from this map. There used to be fog. There used to be fog surrounding these, all around Yeho. It's gone now, and so that level of like indecision, not knowing exactly where they're coming from, that's going to be a lot harder to achieve for Russia, because they're going to be much more exposed. So it makes me wonder if they're going to be really trying to hug the trees more, and instead of going on that southern trench that I mentioned, which kind of worked because of the fog some, whether they'll just try to go quickly from both sides from the trees, using that hill that you're talking about, Google, as machine gun cover. I think that might be the best way to do it, now that the whole dynamic has changed with the fog disappearing.
Yeah, absolutely. It just changes everything every time the OWI makes a change like that. It changes these ops, and that's what makes it fun. Like, it seems like these ops are always evolving. Every time they make a change, add a vehicle, change a map layer. So,
and not only is it just OWI, it's who's commanding, right? mean, even that changes the ops because everyone has their own ideas about how to do stuff. Like I know Pony, who's on the defensive right now, really, he is very, very good. I mean, you watch. There will be tons of barbed wire on the southern side. He's very good at defensive, like fobs, and he makes it really hard for people to push in. So there will be scattered wire on the south and the north, probably, and he's good at managing his economy as far as fob points. So it just depends on who's commanding as to how the app is going to play out too. I like to run more bare bones, but sometimes other people, you know, like to just dig in and make it a huge base. So
medic should not be on Logi. You shouldn't be on Logi. Your medic, your lat, and your scout are going to be the ambush team.
Yeah, it looks like here in Russia, you can probably see on my screen now, we've got them lined up in these vehicles, and it looks like they have, I'll give you an exact name here, but it looks like, just from experience, we have a logistics truck, a troop transport truck, and a tracked APC, the NSVT MTLB. And they're going to be able to use these vehicles to transport troops. A lot of times they'll use this transport truck as, use this transport truck as quick assault vehicle.
MTLB is a huge portion of this attack for Russia. As you can see, the MTLB, it's slow, it is loud, but it does take a lot of damage, and it puts out a lot of offense. And more importantly, is I think it holds 18 people, correct? So you can move two full squads with this thing. 19 people. Oh yeah, exactly. 19 infantry. It holds. So you can move entire squads with this thing. It's a key. I think like who's winning and who's losing as commander in Russia. A lot of times depends on how they use this MTLB. And if it dies early, you're in trouble. And if it lives, it's going to be really tough for militia. Really tough for militia to make it work. So.
Yeah, that MTLB is essential on the Russians' push.
And on the flip side here, the SPG techie is pretty much the opposite of the MTLB, right? It's fast. It packs a huge punch. It's really easy to kill, and it doesn't hold a lot of people. Only 5 infantry are sitting on that thing. But it is good. It's literal polar opposite of the MTLB because it's really good at killing that MTLB. So there's been some debate as to I know the speed is high with this thing, but is it better to drive it around or is it better to use it as an emplacement on this particular map? And we'll see what they do here. I'm curious if they're going to go try to kill the MTLB right away or kind of keep back with it. But either way, it's a key point to militia defense because it is one of the only reliable ways to be killing that MTLB.
Yeah, for sure. They get a lat kit per squad, but a lot of times those people are deployed on defense in the trenches. So it makes it difficult to, especially when you don't know where it's coming from, to effectively counter it. And with that SPG techie able to move around real quick, I feel like that is a perfect counter if they use it right.
Definitely. I mean, the assets are so key on this map because the range for militia is kind of limited based on your objective and the avenues that you have to go with. So the asset use is like I think the defining factor for this op. So you're exactly right. It is very important where and when those things are used.
There's not going to be anyone back. They won't even see this.
Sounds about right.
And so what you're looking at on my screen now, if you're new to our ops, new to squad in general, what you're looking at here is a fob radio. What the fob does is it allows placement of deployables. Things like the hab that you're looking at to your left, the sandbags, all the machine guns, the barbed wire, everything, it comes from this fob. So when I'm talking about resupplying with Logi and fob points, it's referring to this radio getting resources to allow the squad leaders to build different things like the sandbags, like the bunker you see, and all that. And the goal for this op is to kill this thing. Russia needs to kill this thing. Militia needs to defend it. So it sounds like we're hopping on board with CMYK Matter as they do the platoon brief. So we'll give them a listen in as we get ready for this op.
All right, brave citizens of Nova Russia. Today, those dirty Russian bastards are coming down here to destroy our little outpost in this trench off to our southeast. Now, thanks to our Adidas sponsorship, we've been able to acquire some excellent heavy weaponry with which to fend them off. We're going to have three Dishka machine guns or SPGs, and we also have this wonderful SPG truck. We get a mortar too. It's pretty great. Nice, lots of RPG-7s. All they have in terms of vehicle assets is this one crappy MTLB. We got to take that out. Once we take that out, their whole offensive is basically stalled, because that's their big breach weapon that they can use to break through our lines and attack the FOB. So, how we're going to defend this FOB location. Tedish is going to take half his squad, and they're going to push in the Dishkateki here in Mike 6. You're all probably going to want to have your maps open if you don't already, just because it's going to enable you to actually see what's going on. So Mike 6, we have one SP9 technical with a fire team size element with squad lead 1, Tedish. And they're going to ambush the Russian convoy if they try to come roaring down that road. Then, squad 2, the material girls, are going to take a position with one fire team in this little farmhouse up here to our north. And one fire team on the berm to our west, watching to see if the enemy's trying to outflank us from that direction. Squad 3, Nasty Nate, is going to take a position on the hill. One fire team here in Juliet 9, one fire team in Kilo 9. They're going to make sure the Russians don't try to put their NSB machine guns up on the hill above us and rain death and fire down on top of us. Then, Squad 4, Trenchfoot Incorporated, is going to split their squad in half as well. Half of them are going to stay right here in the FOB with me and build, and the other half are going to go south and provide us an early warning in case the Russians attempt to come at us from that direction. Any questions? No, it all seemed pretty straightforward. Alright, yes. Remember, if your squad lead and your fire team leads go down, please come back to the FOB to reintegrate into the chain of command. I don't want, like, half a fire team somewhere outside the wire when it comes time for the final assault and the Russians are really pushing on us when they could have been reintegrated to chain of command half an hour ago and received the information that the Russians were coming. I want to make sure that we do this. Very effective defense. Try and commit yourself to killing at least 2 Russians before you die. Try and make sure that you spot the Russians before they spot you, and that you fire only when it's advantageous to do so. Don't get uppity and, blow your trigger off early and cost your squad a bunch of kills just because you saw, like, one guy out in the open. Make sure that it's time to actually engage, and then when you do, wipe out the Russians with ferocity. Alright?
Fancy words.
Copy.
Let's do it.
Excellent.
Aye, aye.
Praise Adidas.
Break it out, we'll get it live.
We break it.
Alright, so we're gonna reorganize this just a little bit. It's gonna be...
Actually, I think the tracksuits are under.
All right, so that was the militia breakdown. They're kind of fanning out now. They're prepping for live. They're going to kind of get their spots with their areas of assignment the SLs gave them. This will be an interesting one, man. I'm excited. This thing has changed a lot. We've tweaked it a little bit, and it's changed a lot with the fog being gone. I'm really curious to see how it plays out.
I believe so.
Yeah, same here.
I love this game
sometimes. It makes a difference, even if just a little bit sometimes.
I think it makes a pretty big difference.
I think for this one, it will make a big difference because of the sight lines and where they're at. They'll be able to see things coming, and the enemy will be able to see them and how they have it set up from a lot further off. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, man. I think they're starting to get ready. Yeah, so looks okay. So let's break this down a little bit. So what I'm seeing from militia is most likely there's a house up here, northeast of the trench, north of the FOB, that I'm guessing looks like Squad 2, which is Matter Squad, is going to be most likely taking in. Normally what happens is there's a squad broken down into the northern half of this trench, a squad into the southern half of this trench where the FOB is, and then someone out south ready to react to anything coming south. So that's a standard setup for this op. I don't know if that's what they're going to roll with or not. It's looking like that's what they're going to roll with, though, as they've got guys scouting out the house and everything right now. So that would be my best guess, as that offers the most, like, the safest spread of troops and its safest like coverage is what the word I'm looking for. Coverage and viewing, especially now they can see really far.
Yeah, having played against Best Pony a number of times, he seems to be really effective at a good defense with spread out troops. And a lot of people like myself, usually I like to hunker and fortify a small base. But Best Pony is really good about deploying people to key spots in a wide spread and making a good showing of himself as far as defense goes.
You know what's interesting is Pony is the only person I've ever seen super fob in your face. You know what I mean? It seems like his like when I super fob, it's like really defensive, and Pony is normally out here with like barbed wire and like all these aggressive sandbag boxes like that are there for catching grenades and stuff. And it seems like I would bet that they lay more wire down. They lay more wire down south at the end here, because he's almost aggressive with his. He's almost aggressive with the super fob, which is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but he's really good at it.
He's putting a literal spin on the best defense is a good offense. He's making you pay for every little inch.
Yeah, man. So looks like we're popping off live here. One thing to keep an eye out for is scout placement of their assets. So like the different IEDs and mines, that's something huge to watch out for. And I don't think they've dropped them yet, but normally like there's IEDs near the fob and also near some of the woods to try to catch them by surprise.
Misfire on my scout's part.
Yeah, that's another thing with the introduction of mines and IEDs that has really made vehicle play a tricky prospect at best. And it just really makes it you think, how are you going to use these vehicles? And on the side with the mines and IEDs, what's the way that they think the enemy is going to attack with vehicles? It just really makes it for an interesting dynamic. And that changed a number of our ops as well. Just bringing in the mines, it gives you another layer of defense. And countering vehicles that wasn't there before.
Yep. So it looks like we have an IED that's near the hab in case stuff gets really bad and they're ready to pop it. Looks like we have an IED at the southern end of the trench because they're kind of expecting them, like I would, to be coming in from the south in the deflate in the trench. And it kind of looks like he's actually being a little more aggressive with his defense, which is good. He's got a group from Matter's squad in this western woods here. The rest of Matter's squad is by this house in the north. So they've got this whole northern side wrapped up. And they're going to be preemptively, which I like, taking this southern hill as that's probably where the fire base is going to go, like we discussed earlier. So they're going to try to take control of this before anything nasty can happen. And I think it's the way to do an offensive. That makes sense.
Yeah, it looks like the MTLB stayed on that eastern side, and they just dropped off a squad here. Let's see. They just dropped off a squad here to the northwest of that trench there, more west. And they're just holding position, but it looks like that logistics truck is continuing to head south with the rest of command and another squad here.
Some fire from the MTLB.
Oh, yeah, so maybe they're planning to use that MTLB as a distraction and then set up on the south?
That could be. That would actually be an interesting plan.
Yeah, and actually Best Pony just called out that they're coming from their east, so that distraction gets him thinking that there are troops on the east.
This is interesting. This is what I like to see.
So like we have their logistics truck, the militia logistics trucks running right past the He's taking shots. Little Jin is taking shots at the Russian transport here on the south side. Looks like they know that there's a transport down here.
So this is so smart because Nasty Nate's squad is up on this hill already, which is where they want to set up with this Logi truck. That is crazy. They start taking. They're so close. They're so close. We're looking at the Logi truck that's like full and panicking. I'm pretty sure. Squad 3 spotted this and it's been called.
Yep, Nasty Nate has seen it, and are they taking shots?
Not quite
yet.
Transport running after a Logi, so Nate, get ready to take
Yeah, this best pony spread out defense, like we were talking about earlier, is completely countered this sneak move. They know where they're at, and it looks like this Logi's going to try and back out. You can see on my camera here the entire militia force in blue is on this southern ridge that we were pointing out earlier. A good spot to put the machine guns. They're just saying sneaky, weapons tight, and this Logi doesn't know what the people in this Logi doesn't know what to do.
They just dismounted from the Logi.
Yep. It's Odie Tap and probably a couple members of his squad here.
Bird Person, Odie Tap, Hilo, Senate, all dismounted. I don't even know if they know they're there. They're playing it so smart.
Yeah, we have these outlines where we can see them easily, but as players in game, it's not so easy to spot.
Meanwhile, we got this other squad from Russia sweeping down the road, and they're actually, it's like they're about to spot this militia force who spotted the Logi. So if they're too preoccupied by the Logi, I mean, this could be really bad for them if they get cleaned up.
Yeah, it looks like Muff is over here with Command Shadowed Ritual, and they're pushing about eastbound, right toward, like you said, right toward these militia forces.
This is what it comes down to, because this is where they're going to want to put the fob. This is how they're going to want to play this with a firebase up here. They did a very good job of getting up here preemptively. Militia did, but they still have to execute on this.
This all plays out. They're going to come through the woods from your direct west. And they're also going to come from the south.
We got contacts inside this barn down here.
Copy.
They're calling contact on the farmhouse. CMYK Matter just called that over command comms.
We need to get you guys clearing it out. We need to get going.
Yeah, so there's
we've got shot. Oh, let's see. Swifty Sky just went down one tap by one of these Russian troops here.
Ooh.
I want to say that was Family Phantom, possibly Iron Fire.
It was actually, it looked like it was Slippery Pete. Slippery Pete was the one who actually sniped him. So Slippery Pete draws first blood here.
Good job, Slippery Pete.
Yeah, and this is crazy. So there's an actual battle line on the south of this road right here. Racine opens up with that saw.
They are taking heavy contact.
Tap gets a kill.
Yep.
Tap goes down. Some trades going on here. The thing is actually Russia has more people up here than militia does.
Yeah, with that intention to push, they probably have a two and a half squads up there, huh?
Yeah, and I actually think was Tap squad leading?
OD Tap is one of Shadowed Ritual's squad leads, yes.
So that is a problem for them. And the reason it's a problem for them is that Tap kind of has to be the one to place the fob. Because he was a squad leader and he has the squad lead kit. So even if when you die in our ops, you have to immediately give up. When you go down, you give up, you go to admin cam. Tap has a squad lead kit. He was squad leading his squad. He is the only one who can place that radio, the fob radio, which allows him to place a firebase, and he's dead. This Logi, I don't even know if this Logi actually serves much purpose anymore. If there's no squad leaders up here to set up a firebase with, I mean, the best they can do is recover it. They kind of lost their initiative there with Tap dying.
Well, I think as long as Shadowed Ritual survives, he might be able to place that as well. If he can get up there, but that would be dangerous for Command to try and do, for sure.
And he's the one. I mean, he's the guy. He's the only one left.
Yeah, it looks like Karpi's squad down here, they're holding up in this compound just to the east. Very close contact, just to the east of this trench, possibly waiting for that machine gun to spurt off and basically give them a signal to move. But yeah, we are just to the east of that trench, and I don't think that the militia even know they're here. Mara Eve's kids looks like he's pushing up in that trench there. They might start creeping forward. Yeah, it looks like.
That's actually a really good point. Is that there's a small trench on the east. So in the large trench, that's the main one. If you follow the field east over the field, there is a smaller trench on the east side, which is not a bad place to put fire from. So that may be what they're going for. This has become a stalemate down south along this ridge. They're slowly backing off and going forward and backing off. No one's shooting much. It's very, very slow and very calculated right now.
Looks like. Let's see here. Looks like, yep, we're taking contact here. One of CMYK Matters fire teams has pushed out to the east, and they have taken contact on this squad here by Karpi's squad on the Russian side. Yeah, Matter just said they lost their LET. That is going to be one less possible option to take down that MTLB as well. And Pure Paradise take down Tagsman. Pure Paradise takes down Torched, leaving S-Client all by himself out here to the east.
So important note, the FOB did get placed. It got placed far west on like the western portion. I'm actually going to go ahead and refer to this as Coyote Ridge, since we have a Coyote Ridge operation that takes place on this ridge as well. So that FOB actually got that placed, and the MTLB is creeping from the east. So the MTLB is creeping in from the east. They're taking and militia's taking contacts southwest. They're taking contacts northeast. So it's a hectic one. I mean, I got to imagine this is pretty calculated aggression from Shadowed. But it's very hard to manage when you're squad leading and you're commanding, when you're taking contacts from like 4 different directions, because people are saying a bunch of different stuff, all in command comms. So
those command comms just add an extra layer of chaos when you're squad leading. And
yes,
it definitely makes things tense. So
Muff is actually starting to push up right now, leading this southern group across the Coyote Ridge. He's going tree to tree here, taking a look, and looks like militia's just starting to fall back. They're kind of dinged up. Nasty Nate and Thurman Merman both took a couple shots, so they're in the yellow. Overall, this is a pretty intense stalemate. What did happen, though, is they did get the Logi truck out of where it was before. Russia advanced their battle line far enough that they were able to get that truck out of there, and so it's probably supplied the FOB, as you can hear.
Grenade takes out this militia machine gun. Piddle was on this machine gun, and they threw a grenade in here. That Karpi squad is continuing to push with aggression toward this house point, this barn point to the north of that trench. This is what's left of CMYK Matters squad is trying to defend here. Putting shots out, but not doing anything. No hits. Yeah. It looks like Pure Paradise pushing right up to this wall. Snickers, Sergeant NATO, Karpi, the entire squad is pushing really quickly. Evan taking shots at NATO. Looks like he tagged him. They've only got 4 guys in this barn here. 4 guys to counter this whole squad push.
Squad 3 is at
Grenade takes out Sergeant NATO. Damages a couple more.
So is this MG fire from this fire base on the ridge doing anything? Is it damaging anything, or is it just kind of suppressing right now?
As far as this barn goes, where this assault is happening, nothing's hitting this barn. It does look like they're putting tracers on that trench from afar, but not enough to do any damage to anyone. They've got so many sandbags up there, just makes it quick and easy cover for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually pretty well executed by Russia to not lose as many resources or assets as they could have. So everything's still pretty much up and cooking. The MTLB is still alive. They got their fire base up. They got decent positioning. It's looking pretty good for Russia, actually, as far as having to assault this giant trench goes.
Absolutely. They're doing a really good job at cautious but aggressive. That's the best way I could put this push, at least here on the north side, the northeast side, the Karpi squad. They managed to take that barn from the defenders. That leaves the defenders pulling back into this trench, CMYK Matter, and the couple people that are left. He's got 2 guys left, it looks like.
Oh, come on, just heal me.
Oh, mortar is dropping on that fob, actually. Really smart, because militia does get 1 mortar, 1 times mortar emplacement. So they're dropping some mortars in that fob. It's actually pretty accurate. So they pulled them off for the time being. I do want to point out, if people haven't noticed on the stream, militia has actually been getting constant supplies. They've actually gotten at least 2 Logi runs that I've seen. So they are well and good with their economy. They've got a lot of points, a lot of build points to put down if they so choose in its best pony. So I'm sure he will choose to do so. So I haven't been over to the trench yet, but I expect a lot of barbed wire and a lot of difficulty coming up here for the Russians.
There's a heavy.
Yeah, they've got this MTLB parked here on the southeast side. Satan, Panda Scope, and FX1000 sitting here. Looks like Satan, also one of Shadowed Ritual's squad leaders, spotting with his binoculars, giving bearings for the gun on this MTLB to shoot at. It's like, yep, they're taking shots. What they don't know is just behind them on the hill, there is 3 militia that have flanked around, possibly what's left over of Nasty Nate's squad.
No, actually, Nate's squad is pulling back from that ridge. So they traded back and forth, and they actually got out more or less healthy. I think what we're looking at over here, it might even it's not even command squad. They're getting flanked, and this southern element for Russia is actually in trouble, especially if Nate's squad spots them out. They can really collapse in on them. So again, like, this is really good positioning from Pony and his squad leaders. This is all prep work that goes into setting up this kind of defense.
Yeah, it looks like Muff up on that machine gun from Russia, just putting shots on the trench, keeping their heads down and giving Karpi's squad a chance to push here in the trench. They just had a few mortars. They just had a few mortars land in the trench here. I'm not sure who was shooting those off, but looks like they killed 1 or 2 Russian troops. So looks like maybe Karpi is waiting for a signal of some sort to push, but they have guys on both sides. Russia has guys on both sides of this trench, and Best Pony really only has 1 squad left in that trench. He's got the rest of them out defending away from the trench. Kind of a signature Best Pony thing to do, and it works well.
It doesn't look good now, but when your forces are not necessarily all centered on the objective, it's not a bad thing necessarily, because it gives you a little bit of unpredictability and more maneuverability than everyone just chilling in a trench and just hoping they don't get grenaded or something. The MTLB has shown its face down south. You know, my guess would be that they're gonna just make a push from both sides at the same time if they can with that MTLB down there. But they're trading back and forth with the southern element. I'm actually surprised that they didn't go south this time, like hard push south. So I think that might have caught them off guard a little bit, and they may have over allocated down here.
Pony, how many fucking HMG bunkers are they allowed? I thought it was only 1.
sounds of battle coming out here as everyone's just kind of taking cracks, trading some fire. The squad that was pushing across the ridge is finally grouped up with the MTLB and that squad, and they're starting to consolidate down, getting some nice kills on rush or on militia here. They pretty much did a textbook sweep. This is a nice line they've got going here. They're able to cover each other. This is something that we cover in our basic training, which most which every op except for this exact one will require. It's a nice line that sweeps through the woods, and you don't miss anything. It's really easy to hide under bushes and behind trees if you're prone. And they're doing a really good job here.
Yeah, this is definitely looks like Karpi is pushing his squad in, smokes and advancing. They're pushing on this trench really hard, really fast. Yep, we've got Muff shooting with the machine gun, keeping their heads down. Oh, they threw a grenade back. Pure paradise, and Karpi goes down. Karpi is down. Their squad lead is down. That's cutting the head off of a very effective push here. Hopefully they can continue on with that. They've got all sorts of smoke cover.
Hey, if they're already pushing in, let's go. Let's fucking back our guys up.
Tell you what, being on that HMG is the unsung heroes. The unsung hero of ops, I think. You don't get a lot of kills, but you do a lot of damage, and you allow pushes like the one you're seeing now, plus the smoke, to happen when everyone's keeping their heads down.
Yep, and it's scary being shot at with that thing. You get suppressed really well. That's the big bonus of those 50 caliber rounds. Yeah, we've got a pretty major offensive here on this trench.
Yeah, I mean, the MTLB is still lurking. MTLB actually took one lat hit, but there is some dismounts from the MTLB. But, you know, I don't know how much damage they can really do to it. You know, we kind of showcased in the beginning, you know, the MTLB can take a beating. One lat hit's not going to do it. You're not going to do it for him.
Don't shoot those machine guns for a little bit.
Not the toughest, but definitely not the weakest vehicle in the game.
Yes, and it's also important to point out if you're new to the One Life stuff, there's no respawning. Oh, what happened?
It looks like, yeah, Nade went into this trench. Nade went into this trench and took out the one defender that had a line of sight on the entrance. So now we've got, yep, that's something we cover in basic as well, is a good spacing. That's something if you go ahead and sign up and you want to be part, sign up for our SOTT basic, gets you a lot of good info that we use to make these ops last longer with your One Life. You don't want to bunch up with your buddies. It's called what we call battle spacing.
Yeah, and as it was mentioned, like, as there's no respawning, there's also no repairing of vehicles. So landing a lat hit on the MTLB might not have killed it, but it did do some damage to it, and it's going to make them think twice before rolling up anywhere, I think. So in all our ops, except for the ones that are very specifically say vehicles can then rearm and repair, you know, there's none of that allowed. So it may not have killed the MTLB, but it's definitely thinking twice about where it's going now.
I'm healing. Hey, how much RPG? Alright, they want us to just keep pushing south.
Couple more reinforcements coming from the south here. What was Nasty Nate's squad trying to make something happen here? The FOB radio is still alive. Very important, because that is the main objective.
Hey, you need to watch that backblast.
One down. Looks like that was Krusty that got the kill.
Yeah, Krusty the Sailor, the only person left in the trench here, just putting shots down range. He knows they're there. Oh, I am reading it wrong.
That's a Red Stripe.
Red Stripe, you're right. That is Red Stripe. I'm reading it wrong here. Oh, and there is a demonstration of why battle spacing is so important. One grenade took out It's Crispy and Sexyton. One grenade. That's. Yep, that's a big deal.
So meanwhile, we had Fig take out Juzu, who was trying to flank. So that side's a little bit more locked up than it was previously. You can hear an IED popping off. The one that was on the far south of the trench looks like it exploded. I don't think it actually got any kills. No, it doesn't look like it got any kills. I think it did some damage, but I don't think it actually killed anybody. It was a good effort, though, to say the least. I think they still have one IED on the Hab. Actually, I don't actually know if the scout that has that is alive. But that's quite the last ditch effort. If it comes down to it, that they pop that IED. Smoke's getting thrown.
Yeah.
By militia this time.
The Niels and Dark Wolf looks like they're getting ready to push in further down this trench.
Yeah, and that trench that we were talking about early in this up, the Russians are actually going to be taking it up. So again, as you kind of lose focus of the objective sometimes with how crazy these ops are, but the ultimate objective here is to kill that FOB radio that we were talking about. So if and when Russia kills that FOB radio, they will have won. We'll play the round out, but that's their ultimate goal, is to take down that radio. That's sitting smack dab. Actually, it's in the southern end of the trench this time, not in the middle. It's in the southern end. As that MTLB comes alive, put some shots down. More suppressive fire. Nothing new to militia this round.
Yeah, the Niels pushing up here, getting really close to that radio. He knows somebody's in this HABS unit. He's been shot at a number of times. Looks like he's gonna try and clear this out. They're gonna peek different corners, aren't they?
Hey, behind it.
Oh, and the Niels get great peek.
It's not a bad job clearing here.
No, Niels going slow and steady.
Oh, Muff just lets loose a frag round. Woo!
Oh,
he's not playing around.
Miyamoto takes out the Niels. That peak, putting his header on the corner in time to get it shot off.
Muff's got another ready round primed.
Oh,
he hit the other side of the truck.
So he hit the truck on the far side and the near side of this trench.
Yeah, and actually Kenneth just went down right next to Muff. Muff looks like he's starting to, he wants to peek. So bad he wants to peek. I think he has a pretty good idea of where they are. Another round goes out, actually gets the kill on the southern end of the trench.
Yep. I think that's Jax threw a frag round into the trench and got Miyamoto. That leaves Carson. Carson is the only one alive here on the trench, surrounded by Russians.
The hero moment. Muff's pushing up.
Close.
Muff's checking.
Alright, he's getting close. Hold your fire. Give him a sec.
Shadowed Ritual pushing in with his binocs. Getting sight on this trench.
Muff clears out the HAB bunker. XF's gonna get... Oh, XF takes down Carson. He gets the last guy. Oh, he got dinged up in the process, but he did it.
That is the last guy, and that is GG for this round. Russia wins, managing to take every militiaman out.
You know, it didn't go like I thought it was going to initially, but it ended up in the same way, which is take the trench from the south. Even if that's not how they planned it, even if that's not that's how the way they planned it at the beginning, that's the way it sort of ended up. That was a good one. That was an exciting round, man. Some good grenades on both sides. A lot of good mechanics, a good technique being displayed, like good line swooping through the forest, and good communication. That's what I like to see. So as we're wrapping up here, we'll be cutting away to a couple awesome trailers that our content creation team has put together for our trainings. In the meantime, that'll be playing, and we'll come up with round 2 where these guys will swap teams. They'll be on the same people will be on the team, but Militia will play Russia will play Militia. In the meantime, enjoy the trailers, and we'll be answering some questions in the chat, and we'll see you in a few minutes for round 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to SOTT Basic. I'm your instructor today, Hammering Hutch. You guys can simply just call me Hutch. When we are suppressing an enemy target, the whole intent of this is to keep the enemy's head down so an adjacent unit can maneuver onto them. During this process, we have a thing that happens automatically and organically, whether it be with buddy teams or fire teams. The whole intent is to ensure there's no lull in the gunfire, thus talking guns. Open fire. Contact front. Alpha, bound. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. Bravo, bound. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. All right, Bravo set. Alpha up. He sees me. I'm down. You're now in what is known as a file. You're now in what is known as a staggered column, and usually used when on patrol or when moving from one location to another where contact is imminent. And these are a few of the basic formations that we use during squad ops. The SOTT Advanced Weapons Systems course was created to ensure Squad Ops participants share the same knowledge and understanding of the use and applications of mission-specific weapons and the basic tactics involved in their deployment. The Automatic Rifleman. The Automatic Rifleman is the foundation of a fire team and/or squad. The job of the Automatic Rifleman is to deliver a high volume of prolonged, effective suppressing fire on enemy positions to allow the maneuver of friendly units during offensive operations and the repelling of enemy attacks in defensive operations. The Grenadier, a key member of the fire team and squad. The Grenadier is first and foremost a rifleman who is capable of delivering accurate fire of both high explosive and smoke rounds on point and area targets at varying distances. One of the other added benefits of the Grenadier is to engage dead space, which is essentially an area that cannot be hit by direct fires. The Light Anti-Tank Gunner. Soldiers carrying light anti-tank weapons are, just as Grenadiers, riflemen first. They are the ideal infantry-based counter to both lightly armored and thin-skinned vehicles. At short, medium, and far distances, the rockets fired are a viable weapon against groups of infantry as well. The SOTT Advanced Weapons Systems course, although not a requirement, is highly encouraged for Squad Ops participants to join to expand their knowledge of how to utilize the tools that are given to us within Squad.
And welcome back, everyone. Hope you guys grabbed some popcorn and grab a drink. Enjoyed the trailers. We're back for round 2. This is Squad Ops One Life Wednesday event. This is Operation Chainlink. If you weren't here for the first round, if you weren't here giving us a watch, I'm gonna go over the assets that each team gets and the operation overview. So the assets they're going to be coming in for Russia is 2 times ARs, 1 times light anti-tank, their RPG, 1 times a grenade launcher, 1 times medic. That's per squad. Russia also gets 1 MTLB, which is the tracked vehicle, the transport, 1 logistics truck, 1 trans truck, 1 FOB, and 2 HMGs. Militia defending the trench gets 2 AR, 1 LAT, 1 scout, 1 medic. They get a tech, 3 lodgies, a FOB, an HMG, and a mortar. So the overview for the operation is pretty simple, but it's an exciting one. Militia forces set up in a trench. They set up a FOB in the defensive position in a trench. They need to be defending it. Russian forces are going to move into the FOB location and eliminate it. Militia wins if they're able to hold the position. Russia wins if they can clear the militia defense. So Russia needs to kill the FOB, and militia need to defend the FOB. It's cut and dry, but it is an interesting one nonetheless, given the assets that we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah, looks like militia is just starting to get everybody spawned in here on the trench that we saw the current Russian team defend or try to defend last time. So it looks like Shadowed Ritual and his squad leaders, OD Tap, Satan, Karpi, and Xbit, are going to try and defend in this 2-part trench here. They're going to try who knows what at this point, but hopefully they're going to give us a good showing here.
Yeah, and if you didn't catch the last round, militia put up a valiant defense, but ended up falling to the Russians at the in the end. And they ended up losing that thing, but they did a really good job of holding their positions and pulling back when they needed to. They just got overwhelmed by Russia with some good smokes and good pushes on their part, and great nades. We saw some amazing grenades coming out last round, which are really key in clearing the trench.
Yeah, who do you have over on Russia's side again, commanding and squad leading?
Yeah, so let's run that down. It's a good point. For Russia, this round we have Squad 1 is Sightless, Squad 2 is CMYK Matter, Squad 3 is Nasty Nate, Squad 4 is Tedish, and Command, as always, seasoned veteran Best Pony, stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, so with Best Pony, I've always seemed to notice, at least when I play with him on our servers, that he's really fond of a rushing tactic. Blitzing a point and trying to be aggressive and quick. What do you think he's going to do this round if you had to guess based on playing with him?
If I had to guess, I would say something similar. Honestly, I think you're pretty close. You're like right on track there. If I had to guess, I actually think he might even opt for the northern take. The northern approach, which we didn't see last time. So before we get into the briefing stuff, I want to run over militia squad leads. So Squad 1 is OD Tap, Squad 2 is Satan, Squad 3 Karpi, Squad 4 is Xbit, and commanding militia this round is Shadowed Ritual. They had a great round as Russia last round, so they can keep up the success.
It's sad that in 30 minutes, half of us will be dead.
Yeah, it looks like this round, different than last round, I'm fumbling over myself here. Shadow Ritual opted to put the radio in the southern trench this time, on the north edge of it, but in that southern trench. It looks like Shadowed Ritual is starting his brief here.
Yeah, so let's hop on board and let's take a listen to what their master plan is.
There's like a big clump of trees to the south. That's what they're gonna watch. Hey, come on, guys! Safety shovels.
Watch it.
God, Tap. Alright. Squad 2, Satan, is going to be north of the FOB and the house, that little farmhouse. Don't try and hold that farmhouse too hard. It's actually super easy to get, like super easy for them to assault. So don't even try and hold it too much, and don't be afraid to fall back if you need to. Squad 3 is going to take the Dishkateki and head to Coyote Ridge to the south, and they're going to set up and wait for it's a super likely spot that they can set up and get Overwatch like we did, or they'll be able to fire onto the north and cover one cover 2 as they try and take guys out on the north. It's got really good sight lines. They're going to be able to see for miles. Squad 4 is going to be split up. It's going to be a hit or miss job. It's going to be either go really well for you or not well at all. Sorry. You're going to have a fire team on the east watching the barn, and you're going to fire a team on the north. The scout is going to go on the north and try and set down a mine on this road and try and cut off the MTOB as they move through. You're basically scouting parties. I want you, if it's too many people, like if it's the whole platoon, you're going to lay low and wait for them to pass you and then try and hit them in the back. If it's only a scout or so, you're free to engage. Mainly, you're there for information. And if you can fall back, but don't try and run through that open field if you're being shot at. Are there any questions? Cool. If there are no questions, squad leads, break them out for final details, and we'll call for live.
Question.
All right, so we're just coming out of the brief. It looks like Russia is starting to brief now. We'll have to see kind of what they come up with. The vehicle I'm looking at right now is what I mentioned earlier, which is the MTLB. It is a key. It is a key portion or key ingredient asset of the Russian strategy, as we kind of saw last round. It is very good at moving troops around and providing fire support, and that's super key on this map where the best way to win can be to fake them out. If they overcommit to one side of the trench, then you're good on the other side. So I'm curious to see like how this MTLB is going to be used. It's not fast. It is. It's got a decent armament on it. It's very, very bulky. It is loud. It can take a lot of hits though, as you can see, and it actually carries. I think the most important part for our ops is it carries 19 infantry, which is critical. Because you're not getting infinite vehicles or anything, so it's hard to move people around quickly. So I think that 19 infantry carrying count is actually maybe one of the more important things that the vehicle has, and I think it's also very hard to deal with. So it's going to be on militia to deal with the MTLB however they can.
Hey, why don't we take a look at Best Pony in his brief? Looks like we've got it started. We might be able to catch part of the plan. So why don't we take a listen real quick, see if we can hear the rest of this.
First part of that trench, then we're going to go in there, we're going to pour a bunch of grenades into the next part. And then after that, we're just going to ride down on them, take down their fob. And after that, we'll worry about stuff, worry about further contact as they come in, because once we've done that, we'll honestly, most of their team's going to be dead, first of all. And second, we'll have accomplished our mission objective, so if we die, we die, but we're going to take down that fob. Alright, make sense?
Yeah, quick question, Best Pony.
Sure. Sure.
If we can see the fob, like, dead on, like, it's very visible, do heat rockets do any damage to it?
Heat rockets will, in fact, take the fob down significantly. If you have a visual on the radio, like you can actually see it, and you have a heat shot on it, I would not hesitate to take it. That is a good shot. You can pretty much destroy the fob with 2 lats. You can bring it down to half health. So if you can get 4 heat shots on it, that's as good as like 30 seconds worth of shovel dig. So,
cool.
By all means,
because one thing that I noticed that
although I'd recommend use frag rockets. If you have a direct visual on the fob,
Yeah.
there's someone hiding right near it, so just soften it up with some frag rockets first.
Yeah, Because the 50 cal and the 30 mic does destroy fobs now too.
This is correct.
Don't focus on taking down the fob radio. Like
I'm just
it's
saying,
an objective, but it's not the primary objective.
It's the
well. It is.
It is and it isn't the primary objective. The primary objective is
to
take
secure the area.
But the fob is what we're after. But where we're after the fob is in we're going to kill everyone on it first. So don't worry about taking it down without killing the guys on it. That it's pointless. We have to get rid of it and the people there. Once we've secured that trench and fob, then we'll worry about how the rest of it's going to go. But yeah, don't worry about the fob as much as you worry about the people on it.
I got one question. What about if the other team are doing exactly what we did last game, like squads flanking through the walls, through the woods? What we should do?
The idea is that we're going to have the element of surprise. Say they have a fire team up here on this farm, and say they have a fire team down here in this little ditch.
Yep.
They're not going to spot us until the command MTB rolls up and opens fire, and they're not going to realize how big of an element is up there until all of our squads are crashing down on them. So by the time those fire teams start shifting off to come and hit us, right, we're already going to be in the tree line, and like it's going to be completely secure. We're just already it's going to be a non-issue because we're going to get there and we're going to break through their front line and then smash that fob before their flank squads have time to catch it. It's basically a blitzkrieg. The idea is we're going to smash through and take down that fob before they have time to react. If we give them time to react, they can definitely shift forces around and cause trouble for us. But if we make sure that we just aggressively eliminate that fob, we can catch them by surprise and wipe them out before they have a chance to do anything.
So Operation Stampede without the IEDs.
Yeah, Operation Stampede, but we have an armored vehicle. So, much better.
What if there's an enemy squad in that town?
If there's an enemy squad in that town, so the only way they can get to that town is if they send a bunch of logistics trucks up there, the SPD technical, and we're going to see or hear those vehicles as we approach if they're running that stuff up. Definitely maintain, caution. Don't just run around willy-nilly through the town. Obviously, make sure that you're keeping security on your flanks, like all. Make sure you're watching out for contact. But I don't anticipate enemy forces in the town. If there are, we'll just do what I did last time when that happened. There was like a guy who shot one of the squad leads in the town. 1 and 2 will commence the assault with the support of the MTLB, providing cover for them to assault the farmhouse, and 3 and 4 will catch up when they can and act as a second wave of attackers. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Now let's get going.
Yes, World War I tactic, the best.
So yeah, other squads in the MTLB, just don't get any of your guys in until.
All right, so we just heard the Russian plan. It's going to be pretty similar, flanking around the outside. I'm curious, Google, which technical did militia opt for? Because they can take you to the SPG or the Dishkateki.
Yeah, unlike Best Pony, they opted to take the Dishka technical. You can see it. You can see it here on my screen now.
That's okay. So the Dishka technical is like totally different than the MTLB. It's similar to the SPG Techie, obviously, in that it's very quick. It's got a high offensive capability with that Dishka machine gun on there. Obviously, it's really easy to die in that thing. It's very easy to kill, and the carrying capacity is pretty low. So the way I would expect that thing to be used is as an emplacement to hold off infantry and possibly run down the MTLB. But it's an important piece. It's an important piece of the militia arsenal, especially with that offensive capability that you can see, as well as the speed if they do decide to chase the MTLB down, as the MTLB is not quick, it is slow.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how they use that, as whether they're going to use it as an additional emplacement or if they're going to use it for a quick strike. And so once again, just to kind of go over objectives, Russia is going to attempt to clear the militia out of this trench. And their main objective is this thing you can see on my screen now. It's a fob radio. And this fob radio in a vanilla game is used, and in our ops here, obviously, is used to place down things like this HABs you can see in the background, machine gun emplacements, sandbags, barbed wire, all sorts of things. And it's essential to a lot of our ops. Usually it's a key objective. So that's what they're going to try and take tonight. They're going to try and get that radio down like they did last time, like Russia did last time. Shadowed Ritual is going to attempt to keep that secure while Best Pony assaults it.
And all you have to do to get rid of that FOB radio, the forward operating base, is to either dig it up or have enough people near it that it goes down by proximity. So it's a tour de force.
Yep. It looks like we're live here, and the defenders are spreading out.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple transport trucks heading westbound on the highway, and that MTLB is headed straight south. So it looks like they're probably going to wrap around.
Yeah, it looks like Shadow Ritual here has a few guys spreading to the north to this road. Get an advance warning if they're coming from the north. And Shadowed Ritual is probably wary of what we were talking about earlier with Best Pony and his rush tactics. So I think he's wanting to get as much advance warning as possible.
It's a pretty similar rollout to what we saw last time with the some people heading up onto the ridge. Actually, X-Bit squad is pushing out a little farther. They're going into the gas station area, which is not what we saw last time. Last time they were pretty much limited to the trees and the houses on the northern side. But they're going to get nice advance warning here, as well as I bet their scouts going to start laying mines down here as well, if I had to guess. But they'll get plenty of warning being up in near the gas station. Sounds like someone may have audio on the MTB. Like I mentioned, it was really, really loud. This is exactly what this group is here for, is to get audio on these vehicles.
Audio truck also with MTLB. MTLB is in Kilo 6. Keypad 6.
Is Bravo hooked up yet? Yeah, don't engage.
So we've got, looks like the lodging and the trans here, full dismounts. I know X-Bit's fire team that we're looking at right here to your left. I know they see and hear the vehicles.
He is stopped. It's just north of me, about 100 meters.
We're hopping aboard with Crispy.
So just lay low.
Crispy's the one who's actually probably got the best chance at seeing or hearing these dismounts. And I know he called out the trucks coming in, so they have a good idea. And my guess would be that the Russians are looking to drop a FOB and set up a fire base, and the militia are really trying not to let them have it.
It looks like he's not sending anybody to this south ridge. Best Pony possibly sticking mostly to the north, east, and west. They sent a squad for security to this south ridge, but there looks to be no need for it right now.
So yeah, that's an advantage, is what you see here, which is if you don't move everyone around, all of a sudden you've got like a giant hammer that's ready to crash in as they're moving towards Sexyton right now. A full squad is heading towards him. Crispy actually may have eyes on him. They're right past a fence that he's got his back to. So there's a chance that he's gonna hit some contact here along with Sexyton and the rest of his fire team.
Yeah, and X-Bit hiding in this house. CMYK Matter came with just in a few feet of him. You can see X-Bit here hiding behind the fence in this little garden. CMYK Matter actually ran right up to that fence. Best Pony driving by in his MTLB.
So server error actually was spotted by Nasty Nate and his squad, which is kind of a mistake because they know there's at least one person up here now. They definitely don't know how many there are, but server error was spotted, so it's not an entire secret. As Crispy may run into contact right here. Tommy's running in. Crispy.
You're gonna get destroyed.
Oh, that is some discipline there. It's Crispy holding his fire.
I should have placed my fucking IED.
That was
right there.
amazing. Not.
Yeah, he
He's
could
asking
take
for
the shot
free to
right.
fire.
Yeah, free to fire.
That is so well done. Getting the info.
Alright, guys, I need some info.
And
Okay. I need to know, do we have dismounted
Watch out.
I have dismounted on me, facing west. I'm facing west 269.
oh.
I have a squad.
All right. So what you're looking at right now is it's Crispy staring at one guy, and I'm looking right at an IED that's sitting on the road. Server Error's IED is sitting pretty much on this road, and I'll actually show you on my map right here. It is right exactly in the center of my screen. We have a full squad pushing up there.
It's actually a mine. It's not an IED in this road.
It's not an IED. It's a mine.
Yep, it's a mine right here.
So the question is now, can they disarm the mine? Are they paying attention?
Oh,
Crispy actually gets dropped.
It's Crispy. Yep, his discipline paid off early, but he didn't take the shot, and now he paid for it. Yeah, they don't even see it, or they're not going for it. Maybe it's not in their heads. But this mine is just a few feet from that MTLB. We'll see if they decide to drive over it.
Crispy did die, but he did get a lot of info for his team. I guarantee. Yeah. Oh, this MTLB may hit this mine. Oh, yep. It's diverting off road. Oh boy, that's a good idea from them.
We're gonna kick this shindig up.
As it just escapes the mine that's on the road right there.
Yeah, it looks like Krusty the Sailor, Little Jin, Red Stripe, Saloon. They're pushing out to this small band of trees here. Looks like they may be trying to get a flank, get more information. Every inch of this area is an unknown for them as they push. You know, they're pushing with caution, being careful.
Alright, I might as well fucking blow it up.
Server error goes down. Oh no, server error goes down. Yeah, it looks like Krusty the Sailor shoots him as he was dialing his phone to blow up an IED. That could have been a huge thing.
Oh, that is so tragic. And it's so well played from Krusty to make that shot happen. Because this is right as the Russian push is happening. And if you can do that, you can throw total chaos. If you can get some kills, you can throw total chaos into the assault. And this is like a full-on northern attack. They're not even playing with going slow here. MTLB's doing a good job putting shots in this house, trying to cover for the guys crossing the field.
Yeah, it looks like Satan and his squad are here in this barn. These guys are crossing an open field. Now, Bus Pony is doing a good job of putting fire on this with the MTLB, keeping Muff Bandit, Satan, and the other guys here, keeping them suppressed as these troops push across.
Yeah, as you can see, it is very hard to operate, especially when you know you're not coming back, when you're getting suppressed by all that stuff. So actually, all in all, a pretty good assault, except CMYK Matter goes down. So that's a squad lead down. Unfortunately, gets sniped from the trench. But all in all, they did make it across this field and made it across pretty successfully.
Most of us are dead. Matter's down.
Yeah, it looks like the Muff Bandit, Eber, and XF clumped together here. If a grenade came over, that would take them all out. Mentioned it a couple times, but something we cover is battle spacing, especially on defense when you only have one life. But it looks like they're doing work. The Muff Bandit takes down Piddle. He's taking shots at these people. Oh, they're shooting back at him. They said, nope, we've had enough. Time to take a shot back.
Meanwhile, there's also a firefight going down even farther east. So this is fighting's all spread out here. Some troops down farther east near these storage compounds. There's the militia getting a couple kills and pulling back. That's the way to do it.
The Muff Bandit here just taking shots and stalling this push from the north by this house. Oh, a grenade damages him. Is he going to be able to bandage in time? It looks like he's really hurt.
Give me a bandage. I need a bandage.
Oh, he implores his medic to patch him up. which is allowed in our ops. The medics can heal them back to full health, but if they go down, they cannot bring them back. Looks like he came to his medic. He's getting full health.
So something important to mention here is all this fighting has been crazy and fun, but there's an entire like squad all the way still south on the hill for militia. So anything you're seeing up here is like 75% of their force. It's not even all of them. So I would actually say that, you know, Russia got pretty messed up right now. They got pretty messed up with this push because militia has the hit position on the hill, and they've still got the trench, and they've even got most of the northern woods by that house pretty locked down.
Basically, we're gonna swing around the south side through the bottom berm, hit him from there. Try and go put some more pressure on the farmhouse just to distract.
Ooh, and the last person at that house looks like it was Pit Viper. Gets popped by Muff, I believe. So it's really good hold of that house. I mean, that house is super hard to take, and they made it up there fine, but they didn't actually get the execution on it.
Yeah, and that stalls that entire squad that tried to cross this open field. The Muff Bandit taking at least 3 down by himself. Now it looks like there is another push. Got looks about 2 squads worth pushing here on the west side. Yep, we've got
that squad that you're looking at, Google.
Nasty
They
Nate
may have
squad.
lost a lot of. They may have lost a lot of people at that house, but they did get 2 squads across the field, which is very important. Not easy to do.
Yeah, it was a great distraction for sure. Best Pony sacrificing a squad to get more of his forces close. If that's what he did, I'm not sure that was the intent. I'm sure he wanted them all to make it and take that house. But things don't always go that way.
I think we're taking.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, that squad all the way south on those rocks that you're seeing right now was putting shots on this storage container area, doing work with the machine guns that they've got up there, keeping their heads down, slowing the Russian advance, which is very important because it'll allow them to adjust a lot to what they where they can figure out the weaknesses and the defense might be.
Yeah, 285.
Where do you see these?
In the tree line?
Yeah,
I saw them. Yeah, I see them.
Looks like they're trying to assault this house again.
They're going back for more, huh?
Yep, the Muff Bandit, XF, Jax, and who do we have here? Nightingale? Clever play. They are all... Oh! Somebody puts a rocket into that group, takes down one. Looks like Carson. Muff. It looks like Muff is lats. Oh, and he damages 2 more. That's the way to use your lats effectively. Putting a frag round into the group. Miyamoto might bleed out here. He is going to be very close. It looks like he bandaged himself up. They're throwing smokes to try and cover their advance. Nasty Nate going crazy and charging in all by himself here. Yep, Muff Bandit might not. Oh, Nasty Nate wins the encounter. Woo! Oh, and then he dies. It's a trade. Squad lead and Nasty Nate and the Muff Bandit trade for each other. Yeah, it looks like the rest of this squad here with Nasty Nate down. I mean, his fire team lead. So every squad lead gets 2 fire team leads who can, if the squad lead goes down, he can transfer his comms over to them. So they might still have comms with the commander, with Best Pony, or rather, yeah, Best Pony. So they might still be able to get instructions.
We're taking contact up.
Yeah, so there's been a push going down on the west side. While that's been going down, we have a full squad in an MTLB pushing these guys on the rocks. Actually, a lat shot went out to hit the MTLB, and then actually hit short a little bit, so I don't think it took any or much damage, which is unfortunate for the defenders because this MTLB is going to start wrecking them right now. As you can see, laying down shots on those rocks, forcing everyone off, allowing his squad to push up underneath the rocks, which is exactly how you should be doing it.
There's smoke close northwest.
The MTLB advances over the top, and they really start to clean up this fire base, which is a good idea because it's going to be incredibly hard to take anything while you're running away from MG fire.
I don't have an eye. I don't have an eye.
The Dishka sniffed at the MTLB position.
Alright, wait for it to come around.
MTLB sees it first, though, starts to shoot at it. They pull the Dishka Techie away. It is on fire, though. It is not looking great. Although he's still back on it. This MTLB is going to be a huge problem as these lat kits start to drop.
Looks like Russia managed to take this house from the militia. I don't know if they pulled back or they managed to kill them all, but it looks like they managed to take this house, a key point of cover for them and a good staging point for their next push. They did disable. They didn't kill the driver, but they did scare him into getting out of his logistics truck. So they're effectively done getting logi runs. Militia is.
This is crazy right now. The MTLB actually killed the Dishka Techie while that farmhouse is being taken, and it's now just rolled up basically on top of militia positions. Oh, the IED goes off. It was a really smart IED. MTLB took probably a little bit of damage, but it's still doing okay. Unfortunately, there's been a couple near misses for it. The resources are starting to run low on militia.
Yep, they're slowly being whittled down to just the group in that trench. That is no small thing to have that defensive trench, though. It's still going to take Russia a very concerted effort to get in there.
Actually, I think the militia side, I think there's people still on the ridge as the MTB starts unloading into the trench because they're mortaring their own position where their previous position was. I think they think the Russians are up there, but they're actually not. They're moving quickly under the MTLB fire. Another lag kit misses on the MTLB. That's at least one dead and another miss. And I don't think the MTLB's taken much damage. Just maybe something from making some a little bit from the IED, maybe some splash damage from a rocket, but not much.
Looks like they're getting ready. They're smoking the north side of this trench here. They're throwing smokes into the field. Oh, somebody just detonated an IED.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Yep. It's like they knew, right, as soon as they tried.
How many kills did he get?
It looks like he got 4 kills with that IED.
Oh, what an IED!
And he damaged Miyamoto there, too. Wow,
oh,
that was effective at scaring them behind rocks. Yeah, they got scared. Every single one of those troops pulled backward away from that explosion.
Holy cow. I saw that from all the way down here. I felt that one.
Yeah, I jumped in my chair a little bit. I was a little close to that.
That strategy, and actually they used it up on the ridge, militia did as well, is like take a position up, fall back from that position, and drop out an IED where you just were, and as they push over your position to clear you out, you just pop the IED, and you'll get a bunch of kills. And as you saw, I mean, it worked out pretty well for that northern end of that trench, for militia at least. The only issue now is that, like we were talking about before, it's not bad to have some troops outside of the main objective area. And, like, pretty much all of militia that's left is in the southern half of this trench, which looks like a lot of people now, but when you start throwing grenades and stuff in there, it's going to end up being a lot less than you think. There's no really any way that the militia can maneuver. Oh, another great IED takes down 2, and Lilligin takes damage. What? Are you kidding me? That's 6 kills with 2 IEDs, and it's heavy damage on both of them too. Oh my goodness gracious!
You just don't see that. Yeah, that's just something you don't see in the ops. It's so difficult to time those and get troops around them and just know when to set them off.
And the scouts still have to stay alive for that to happen, and they're doing an
Exactly.
excellent job of that. Oh my gosh!
And militia is still sending mortar rounds out, possibly to hit known locations here. They're shooting lat rockets at this fortification, but the sandbags are preventing them from coming inside. They're just shallow. So this defensive position is working really well for militia right now.
I tell you what.
Oh,
this has stalled. And a mortar takes down Liljan. I mean, this southern push has been totally shut down by explosives.
Yeah, and Russia's MTLB is on the trench right now, just shooting everybody it can see. Best Pony, Command himself, is manning that MTLB, just tearing apart this trench. He's already got 2 kills, 3 kills in this trench with that gun. They all have to stay low and keep out of sight.
That's the thing, is as good as the explosives have been for militia, they haven't killed the MTLB yet. And they've actually failed to do significant damage to it, I think, which is pretty much, it's going to end up spelling the end of the game, more or less, if they can figure out a way to deal with it.
Yeah, Ted is trying to shoot into the trench here and take down this machine gunner. Panda Scope gets off the gun and shoots Tedish first. That's not something you see very often. Tedish, one of our long time members, and
yeah, Tedish is not new to any of this.
No, not at all.
So one interesting thing is Juzu is coming in behind, actually. He's the lone militia behind this northern advance, taking some pot shots. I don't think the Russians have any idea. I don't think they have any idea what's going on. Pony just said the MTLB is out of ammo. And I think he just got killed.
Yep.
Oh boy, the MTLB is out of ammo. I don't think.
Oh no!
I gotta be honest.
V44N bad nade and kills himself.
I gotta be honest. I think it would have been better if they pretended the MTLB still had ammo in it instead of abandoning it.
Yeah, that noise it makes is intimidating. Just drive it in circles around.
Definitely.
Now it looks like the defenders are throwing smokes out to try and block lines of sight.
And Juzu is still behind. Still running around. He's running by the farmhouse now. He's still behind all of these enemies.
Yeah, it's like at the end here, everybody has saved their grenades and they're throwing them into these trenches. Oh, Dermoplast takes out the Senate. A grenade takes out Kennett. Leaves OD Tap by him. Well, not quite by himself. But it leaves him with just a few other people here.
Cantador, Swifty Sky, Dermoplast. Look like they're the last ones alive, right?
I believe that's the last of the Russians.
Juzu could do away with all 3 of them right now if he's paying attention. Dermoplast looks like he has an angle on him. He takes down, I think that's Cantador. Swifty Sky's still up. Juzu takes down the second one, gets killed by Dermoplast, but that means Dermoplast is the last one alive. Boy, this has been quite the swing in a battle. I did not think the militia were going to come this far, and all of a sudden, they get a bunch of kills with really good explosives, do a really good job of throwing their nades, and Russia's having a rough time.
Yeah, Dermoplast might try and dig this radio and basically go for the objective. They've got 5 guys down here at the end of the trench. 6 guys. 1, 2, 3. Yes. And that's that's it.
Oh, there he goes.
And got killed. I think that's GG. That is GG. That is the end of Operation Chainlink,
folks. Woo! Does everyone take a big deep breath? Take a nice deep breath after that one. That was very well executed by militia, staggering their explosives, putting them in good places. That's good for on the command. Shadowed and all of his squad leaders did a really good job of staggering, and scouts did a really good job of staggering those out. That was a fun one to watch, man.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you guys hang out for a little bit, we're actually going to get the now militia commander Shadow Ritual on here. We're going to talk to him about the op, do a little bit of a breakdown. If you guys are curious about what goes into a command, and what goes through a commander's head. And I'm curious as well, because that was very well executed from the defense that second round.
Yeah, what I want to know is whether he chose those IED locations or whether he left that to his squad leads.
Yeah, I am curious. Yeah, I am curious about that because it seemed like there was a really good strategy of falling back from your position and then dropping the IED at the feet and then popping it after you're gone. So actually, we've got Shadowed in here. Welcome, man. Welcome, Shadowed. It was a really good op, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of fun.
So okay, so I gotta ask that second round. Do you know how well your IEDs did or no?
I actually died right as the northern IED and the southern IED went off, and it was impressive. Like that was exactly our plan, was to let them come into us. Those were the only two IEDs I specified. Like they're going here and here. And I was like, you're gonna wait for them to fall back, and then you're gonna blow them. You're gonna just draw them in. You're gonna blow them, because that's the most likely approach. You really can't come into that trench from the open field. You're gonna have to come in from the north and the south, and they did work.
So, Google, do you want to tell them how well they did, or do you want me to? Because it was a lot.
Yeah, that northern one, I was looking at that as they started to push. Your IED went off, killed 4 guys right out the gate, damaged 1, and it pulled that entire pushback. They all basically turned around and ran from it. So it was extremely effective at stalling they were planned push anyway.
Oh,
the southern one got 2 more. So, so what goes in? So I like what goes into that decision making? Like, is that just experience in ops? Like those big decisions, is that just playing the op over and over? Is it just knowing, oh, they're going to clear this position off and we're going to lay an IED down here? Or is it up to your squad leads? Like how does that work?
A lot of the times it just comes down to experience, not in just playing the ops. It's knowing like how would you want to come into the objective? Like how do you want to approach it? And really, like it just made the most sense that you're not going to want to come in from the open field. You're going to want to come in from cover, like using the tree line or something like that, and just trying laying traps down for them, and hoping that the longer the game goes on, the more lax they get in their basic training of spacing and just constantly communicating, and it ended up working out for us in the end.
Yeah. So we've also got Pony, who is the other commander. For the other side, good game, both of you guys.
Good game.
Good game. So Pony, Shadow was talking about like kind of what goes into like the planning phase for commanding. What I want to know from you is something similar, but how much? So everyone has their own commanding style. Like, what do you leave up to your SLs and your fire team leads and stuff like that as far as like movement, or do you like kind of have a plan from the get-go, or is it a little bit of like a play it by ear thing?
It's mostly a plan from the get-go. I have contingencies for when things go wrong, which is why you saw when we pushed the farmhouse and that did not work out as intended, I immediately shifted forces around and tried to get something else going. But in large part, I have a grand scheme that I'm going to run, and then I work off of that as things happen.
Yes, so it's like mostly on the fly, right? I mean, like it seems like it's here's the plan and it's all gonna go all totally wrong and we'll figure it out from there. So is that mostly on you, or is that still on the SLs? Like when shit starts to hit the fan?
When shit starts to hit the fan, it's my job to salvage it. It's really the SL's job to keep their particular part of the plan from being the shit hits the fan part in the beginning. Some of it's out of their control, like sometimes they just hit contact when they're not supposed to hit contact because there's just a squad where we didn't expect it. That's on me. But sometimes, you know, like there'll be a missed shot that needed to be made, or like a push into an area that they're not supposed to push into, and that's kind of... I leave a lot of the implementation of where to go up to them, and that's really the only place that they have room to mess up.
I have a specific question for you on the second round, Best Pony, when you were in that MTLB.
Sure.
Right, just north of that gas station, they had a mine on the road. Did you guys see that and avoid it on purpose, or did you just happen to drive off the road there?
As a rule, I don't drive on roads if possible.
So you didn't actually see it there? You
Didn't see it, just followed my personal rules for road driving, and got lucky, I guess.
Very
so,
lucky.
Yes, so I do want to find out, like, from both of you. I want to go to Shadow first and then over to Pony. Like, how hard is it? So I'm a squad leader mostly, and it's difficult for me when I'm squad leading. How hard is it for you guys to not get in the action with, like, just pull your rifle out and go in? Because it's very hard for me, at least when I'm in a position like that, to not, like, want to go help, like personally, until, you know, it gets really bad. How difficult is that, and, like, kind of what do you do to deal with it?
For me, like, I have a really bad habit of leading by example and then being the first person to die, and, like, this is, like, maybe my 5th or 6th time commanding, and it happened a lot when I SL'd, and I think that's really what's always in the back of my head is, like, hey, you don't always need to be the first person in, you know, like, you can let somebody else go in, and your job is really just, you always gotta, your job is the bigger picture, like, you always gotta think about the bigger picture, like, I need to stay back and make sure everybody's doing their job, not just that I can maybe get the 1 or 2 kills, you know? Like, it's not all about my KD, it's more about making sure the team is doing what they need to do.
Yeah, and Pony, what about for you?
I cannot resist the allure of being at or near the front lines a lot of the time, trying to help support, just because there's little things, right, that start to go wrong in the plane where you can go along and fix. Like, VSLs and FTLs can't babysit everyone all the time, but you can run up and say, hey, you, get on that Dishka, or you can hop on it yourself for a couple seconds if it's unmanned and get a few kills. Or the second round, I think I gave a pretty good example of how I like to lead. If there's an armored vehicle available, perfect. I'll take that for command and sit in it and be able to provide support for my troops at the front lines, have a better idea of the situation, and just be able to make decisions on the fly more accurately than if I'm sitting 100, 200 meters back and I don't really see what the frontline squad leads see.
Got it. I like it. Thank you guys for stopping in. I want to thank everyone for watching. All over, we're streaming to a lot of places. Everyone, people watching on, like, YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. I just want to encourage you guys to keep coming out. It makes, like, this experience, like, especially special. You know, we're here, we're streaming on twitch.tv/squadops. We're streaming on youtube.com/squadops. So those are both going to be live, like just like we were tonight. That'll happen every Wednesday and normally twice on Saturday. Some Saturday sessions may have a single POV cam rather than the full production like you're seeing here. But most of the time we're gonna have, you know, all of those views and this, like, cool, like, all this work that's been put in behind the scenes. We're gonna have that available for you guys. I just want to thank everyone who had a camera. I'm going to list them off, and it would not be possible without them, which is Muff, Crazy Russian, CMYK Matter, Xbit, Tedish, Carpy, Server Error 404, Krusty the Sailor, It's Crispy, Shadowed. Thank you guys all for providing those cameras. Thank you to Penn so much. He's the man that you're not hearing or seeing, who's put in all the work to make these awesome, like, amazing streams happen. He's doing all this switching behind the scenes. A ton of work goes into that, and that's huge on to him and really to the entire content creation team that we have at Squad Ops. I want to thank Google. Thank you for sitting in the other chair today. Thank you for co-commentating. It was a lot of fun.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope to be back with you guys. Like I said, youtube.com/squadops and twitch.tv/squadops. Wednesdays and Saturdays, twice on Saturdays. We're going to be live. We're going to be letting you guys kind of see what we do as far as the One Life stuff goes. Any questions, feel free to ask him in any chat. Come to our Discord. We're there. We can answer all your questions. That's it for me. I thank you guys again for coming out and watching, and I encourage you guys to do it more. And I'm looking so forward to seeing you guys keep up the participation with our streams and with our community. So thank you guys, and we will see you on Saturday.